Hello, Sunshine. Welcome back to another episode of How to Blaze podcast. Sorry if that scared you. That was just me feeling a little bit cheeky today. I'm looking at the wrong place again. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of How to Blaze podcast. This episode's a little different. It's more like, I guess, a little bit like my update episodes where I kind of rant on a little bit and kind of just chit chat with you. But I thought it was a very, very good episode to do. And I'm going to explain the name, like the reason for the name for this episode. So I decided to call this episode Pause. And the reason is because I want people to kind of realize the importance of resting and pausing, especially when you're kind of like me, like recently with the podcast not taking off, and having this much luck with like getting interviews, getting events for free, or like paid events, kind of, all falling into place at the right time and everything. Like, I'm very, very, very lucky and very fortunate, and I'm super grateful. Even when I'm like super tired, like on days where I suddenly just end up like with no sleep or very little sleep, I'm still incredibly, incredibly grateful. And, I've even gotten to kind of start chatting to someone because of the podcast in a certain way. But we won't go into that. But I just want to say that, thank you very much again for you guys for taking your time to kind of enjoy the channel. And I hope that it has good influences on you, whether it be reminding you of important things in life or remembering to kind of take the leap of faith and not wait too long for things and try to enjoy life and do more new things and enjoy hobbies even when you suck at them. Do things when you suck at them. Just enjoy the hell out of it. Now, I think this episode is going to be mostly focused on another thing that I was really also like trying to push myself to do, which was going back into beaches. So ages ago, last season, if you were following already, you would have seen there was an episode where I did kind of a bit like it was a beach themed episode, but it was very much about the topic of sort of, I guess, like self-image and I guess like body dysmorphia to a degree. Mine's not very, very bad, but I am very, very skinny compared to the average people. And I often do get comments about it. And sometimes it does affect me. And, the one thing I noticed from that experience that day was, and I was told by a friend who was a very spiritual person, that when a water sign like me goes to the beach and gets into the water, it's supposed to be very calming, very replenishing, and very restorative, I guess, like very restful for me. Basically very healing. All these terms pretty much mean the same thing. But anyway, and that was true. After that experience, when I went home, I didn't realize how stressed I have been and just felt my whole body completely relaxed, had the best sleep that night. And so since then, I have always made an effort to think that I got to make my way back out to the beach. And it also made me have a new goal, which was I've always wanted to go to all the different nice beaches that people talk about in Sydney. But I just like have not been to any of them. And there's so many of those better, like local, well-known ones. And so far, around that time, all I have ever been to was pretty much Bondi Beach and Manly. Manly mostly because I grew up around the northern beaches, so Manly was very, very familiar to me, and I used to go there for tutoring a lot. But then I ended up working there briefly as well, so then became even more familiar with it. Bondi Beach was just kind of to cover, I guess, like because I went to Bondi Junction a few times, and also just people always talk about it and how everyone goes there. And I just kind of wanted push another experience, Anyway, today I ended up going back to my old stomping ground, King's Cross near Potts Point, and I went to the Lookout, which is one of my little favorite spots and a lot of dog owners' favorite spot, near the Bear Park, which is like bear spelt with an E. Very, very pretty. As you can see with the images, the water around Sydney is just incredible. And it's just such a cute little spot. And then I was like, hey, this is usually a really cute spot to get seashells as well. And it's pretty quiet and seclusive, and you get to see dogs a lot as well. I ended up finding so many cool little like shells with like these cool textures, like layering, and also like just like really cool iridescent colors and all that kind of stuff. One of them actually reminded me, the really smooth one really reminded me of I feel like one of the Pokemon episodes, maybe like from Johto, like one of the league's badges. I feel like. Anyone else like get that? Anyway, so yeah, the idea of pause, let's go back to that topic, is I think it's very, very important to recognize the fact that, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. I believe that a lot of our learning process, where we come to terms with things, where we realize things, a lot of that learning progress and improvement and all these big processes in our mindset kind of happens when we give time to settle in. And it happens when we slow down and when we rest and when we stop. When you're constantly on the go, on the go, on the go, a lot of things kind of just hit each other and kind of smash around chaotically in your brain. And it's in these moments, it's kind of like goes to also the fact that they say, like, when you're busy, everything's pretty easy. It's how you feel and how you deal with yourself when you are sitting down in the quiet, just alone with your own thoughts, that really kind of says how you are really doing, if that makes any sense. And so yeah, so basically today was that was the focus, and I was pretty much hitting a point where I was like way too crazy busy, which I knew it wasn't going to be every day, and it was just one of those occasions where there was a lot that happened to be on the same day and had to happen because I had to like lock in those things. And I ended up getting everything done really, really quickly, and everything like just went really well. So I ended up like being really efficient that yesterday. If you don't know, yesterday basically I didn't get any sleep because of the night before. I was trying to catch up on the editing that I've been putting off for like a episode. Ended up finishing uploading around 5 or 6 a.m. and then got sleep paralysis, so I didn't get any sleep. And then I had to go out from like about 8:40 a.m. all the way through to basically 9 p.m. So I was like nonstop on the go. But yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to share. It's not a very, very crazy big episode, not a lot to talk about, but I did just kind of want to remind everyone to slow down, find like your kind of place of peace. I know Tiga, a good friend, he loves going to hiking and going into the outback in the bush. That's his kind of like place. He doesn't love the beach, but for me, the beach is the place I found. Um, Talking a little bit about the beaches too as recommendations as well would be kind of this episode's point, and I'm going to be doing more of these episodes. But Bondi Beach, definitely not my favorite beach. It's probably pretty low at the moment, like ranking, because I know for a fact that it's just super overcrowded and full of people, and it's just way too busy and way too many tourists. And Manly, it is pretty busy too, always full of people, but it's actually just so much more space and so much nicer. And I just love the vibe there. People are so chilled there, and there's so many good food, and it's got that kind of more suburban, kind of chilled, laid back kind of vibes. Really good fish and chips there too, if you like fish and chips like me. So yummy. But yeah, I've been there several times on the ferry. So getting the ferry ride is also one of the part that I really, really enjoy, especially when the sun's coming up or the sun's setting, or at night, sometimes with the lights coming on. All are really enjoyable ways to kind of enjoy the ferry ride and then enjoying Manly Beach. Um, yeah, and just around Rushcutters Bay area, like where the Lookout and the Bear Park is that I went to today, there's also like a few other like watery fronts. It's just a beautiful place to be. And so many dogs were like, there was like at one point, I think 3 or 4 dogs basically fighting for a stick. It was really, really funny, very cute. Um, but yeah, so I feel like after that, when I came home, I was on the way back, on the walk back, I was splashing around and all that, walking in the water, even got my jeans wet when I was trying to find all these like shells. But I felt really, really fun. push myself to spend a little bit of money that I probably shouldn't necessarily have, but could kind of afford to get some snacks and some cake. I got like lime chili chips, tortilla chips, and bruschetta dip, which was amazing from Harris Farm, and then like a banana caramel cake, which was looked really good, was okay. But overall, that was really, really nice to like sit down, eat that. And another thing that I was trying was also I think it's Tessellate is the brand. It's like basically the sandproof and waterproof. I believe it's sandproof and waterproof. What do you call it? Beach towel. And I bought it at one point years and years back and never ended up using it, which was funny because I live so close to it. It just kind of makes you think, you really appreciate where you used to live when you were having access to things that you kind of want to do now. So that's why I say don't wait, and make sure you keep pushing yourself to enjoy things. As I always say, pop open that champagne, wear that dress, enjoy yourself. Even when you're busy, you have to make time for this kind of stuff, because otherwise, what's the point of living life when you're not doing anything that you're supposed to be enjoying? Just don't want to be like regretting in like 10 years and say like, I wish I did more of this or that. That's the whole point of the channel as well, kind of trying to promote that idea. I guess I'm just going to leave it here. Right down below, what's your kind of way to kind of wind down in kind of your safe place? Maybe like it's a nice bubble bath, or maybe like, in the dark with some candles, or maybe you just like to go out to an arcade or something. Like, where's your kind of like favorite sort of like little safe space to kind of heal and stop and ponder life and, rejuvenate, I guess? What's your respawning spot? But also comment down below like what kind of beaches you've been to in Sydney, if you've ever been to Sydney, and what is your favorite spot, and which one do you recommend me highly to go next, and I will go to it next. Thank you so much for joining today's episode. It's a little bit weird, it's a little bit different, but I hope you pause and give yourself a little bit of time and a well-deserved rest. And that's definitely going out to a lot of my friends who work really, really, really hard. Kudos to all the hustlers, but remember, you do deserve a rest. And take a breath. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye. My pants are officially wet. It's fine.